Hello, everyone. Today is April 4th, 2022, and this session is for you. So I would like you to take a moment and pause, focus on your breath, just tune into yourself. If you need more time, just pause before you finish watching and ask yourself what it is where you would like to see change in your life, emotionally, mentally, physically. But it could also be like within your work or within relationships or wherever it is that you would like to see a shift. Just bring that to the forefront. And that, in essence, will be the theme for your session. So even though this is going to be for everyone, and even though this is recorded on April 4th, 2022, if this resonates, excuse me, it will have an effect, regardless if you watch this later on in time. All right, so I'm bringing in my pause, sort of setting the stage for the session for everyone currently in the future to benefit from whatever wants to surface today. Okay. So the main modality that I use is body talk, and I use biofeedback muscle testing, which I'm doing beneath the screen. You can't see me do that. But that is what is guiding me through a protocol of me asking questions as to what is priority. And this is priority for you watching, for the whole group. And so we're going into the circulation of our blood, and that is to, from, and within an organ. It's actually our heart. So it is the whole circulation of the blood to the heart as an organ, within the heart, and then from the heart. And we have an orientation here, which is something outside of ourselves, and that is the current global status. And that means whatever that means for you. So if you immediately think of Russia, Ukraine, if you immediately think of finances, if you immediately think of, something local, all good. It is whatever that means to you. Current global status. So how that is affecting this circulation of blood for our heart. And it actually wants to link, so connect to something else. This is an endocrine. So it's our thymus. And in the thymus, the focus here is the balance of our peacekeepers and our warriors. And that's part of our immune system, as our thymus is educating these very specific immune cells to either make peace or to fight something. So if you if you catch something like a virus or a bacteria pathogen, you want your body to go and fight it, but then at some point you want it to stop fighting. You don't want it to stay in a active mode of fighting, nor do you want it to overreact every time it needs to fight something. You want to bring back in the peace. Right, and then we're going to further connect it to something else. Which is actually a consciousness aspect. And it's an aspect that we label as separation. And when we go into this sense of separation, it starts, well, there's a couple of layers of this. So there's separation from, let's say, source, from our divine higher spiritual connection. But then it can also go into like personality modification or into not even being able to bond with other people because of feeling separate. So it's all these different layers that are coming up. And it has a quality of loneliness. We're anchoring that into the wisdom of our heart, or our innate wisdom. We sometimes call it this our individuation, which is the I am, the self. So it's interesting because it's all right here, right? It's the circulation of the blood in the heart, then it's the thymus, and then it is the consciousness of separation, and we're also anchoring that in the heart. So everything is really heart related, and I would almost call it love related. But so what we're going to do is we're going to implement this by tapping softly on our head, breathing in and out, tapping on our chest. It's really our breastbone, or waking up that innate wisdom that I just talked about. And then tapping on your belly, anywhere around your belly button. So we're bringing in the circulation of blood to the heart. Then we're balancing the reactiveness of the thymus, for that part of the immune system. And then we're linking into the aspect of separation, which is really an illusion, right? That feeling, that quality of loneliness when we realize we are all connected. Then that sort of shifts into at least this connection with ourselves. And from the connection of ourselves, we can then connect out. Okay. I had to sort of hold it for a second to make sure that it was really anchored. We're going to something that's called musculoskeletal. We're going into reciprocals. And I'm holding a set of reciprocal points. And they are for our upper and our lower bodies. So I'm going to give you an example. We've got the right shoulder linking to our left hip. So that would be upper body, hip being lower body, and we're making a connection. So we're making the connection on all sides, all areas of these shoulders. And we're doing the same thing on each side. So on the left side, the left shoulder, we're linking to the right hip. Okay. Now, to some extent, this is a continuation of that separation concept. So I'm seeing a couple of things. Maybe it used to be when you played with dolls, or you have kids that play with dolls, you have the trunk, and then you have an arm and a leg, and you can sort of push that into the trunk or pull it out. And same with the head. So you pull it all out, and then you have these separate body parts. You have these separate components. And what we want is that actually the whole thing feels like an integrated part, like a whole, one whole, rather than separate parts. Because what this has to do with is the communication within the body. So the signaling within the body as that's happening, and it's communicating what's really going on in the body. And it's funny because I don't know if you hear it, but somebody outside is sawing. So they're putting something into different pieces or smaller pieces or whatever they're doing. I don't know. But whereas we're putting it all back together. All right. So these reciprocals as a whole unit of upper to lower body, we are then connecting to an area within the brain, and it goes into the thalamus, which sometimes we call the grand central station of the brain, meaning all input, so all information coming into the brain, but also going out of the brain, goes through this particular part. And we are going to several aspects. So let me look at what we want here. We're going to two places, which is called hearing reality. And the other part is drawing conclusions. Okay. So that's really the consciousness of what this area in the brain does. Being able to hear our reality and drawing conclusions, which I guess would be the next step in the process. And we are going to hydrate this area of the thalamus. So bringing in the nutrients as well as really allowing the structure of those cells to be optimized to do their job. So what I'm talking about is the crystalline structure of the cell is what gets restored with this hydration aspect. Yeah, and we're gonna tap that out. Now we when we tap out, when we implement, we always like to have a hand position that will be our focal point. So I'd like you to take your hand and put it on your navel, as that's sort of the midline of this upper lower body. And then we are tapping, allowing all the links between upper and lower body to be restored. And linking into the thalamus of these aspects of hearing reality and drawing conclusions. And so check back to your intention for the session, and if that is relevant, if that makes any sense to you as to what you put forth. All right. Right now I'm getting to an emotion, which is an emotion of the element earth from the Chinese perspective, and that is worry. And the worry is, let's say, stuck within an organ, as in the liver. Now that's not the ideal place for worry to be, because from the Chinese perspective, worry is really part of the spleen or the stomach, and the liver is all about activation and movement and anger. Right? Anger allows us to push through something, but if the liver is worried, then it sort of backlogs the system, if you will. So we're gonna release the worry out of the liver, and we're actually bringing it back into, the stomach. So we're going to move it to the stomach. And the stomach will actually be able to use that worry in order to kick up your thinking, and digest it, process it, and then it will be able to go to a level of wisdom within the thinking. All right. Still check. We are going to do something else that's linking to this. It's funny because I've already started to drag the energy from the liver into the stomach, this worry energy. It's not the liver that we need. Let's see, hold on a second. So we're going. Yeah, we are going to what we call the pancreas reflex point. And so according to the Chinese, the pancreas and the spleen are one of the same. They don't see a separation in that. So what's interesting is that we're putting this worry into the stomach, and the spleen are partners. And then we're doing the pancreas reflex point, which is an acupuncture point that we are going to activate. I will hold that for you, which really brings in balance in your whole system. It allows your masculine and your femininity to become one. It allows for a certain sense of protection. It allows for your blood sugar to even out. So it's got several different possibilities for you that this is going to shift within you, or that you're going to resonate with it. Okay, so now we are implementing it, and just hold a hand on your right side, right underneath your rib cage. That's the location of your liver. And then I will do the rest. And then you can tap out your head, breathing in and out nice and deeply. The sternum, the heart area, and around your belly. Yeah. So it's almost from this scattered, separated consciousness as well as internal feeling, we are now bringing it back as a whole. We have just done that. We've just created this energy again to sort of round it all off. And there's yeah, we can actually do switching, which that's a technique where you hold 2 fingers on the eyeballs. You breathe in and out, and in and out, and then you can drop your fingers down till below your clavicle, and then you can just rub that little area below the clavicle. Again, breathing in and out. And then we tap head, sternum, and the belly. All right. So that is April's session. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if it resonates, please click like and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon, and sending you lots of love. Bye for now.